Okay, this tutorial is still continuing in section 2.1, and now we're going to look at drawing the cos graph using the unit circle, similar to what we did last time when we did sine. Okay, now we look at the unit circle with cos, and if we remember, you know, the unit circle, if we just kind of draw a little one up here, right, this is 1, 0, this is 0, 1, this is negative 1, 0, and this is 0, negative 1. And as we're going around here, and cos is the second point, or the x point now, so we're going to be looking specifically at the first point as we go around. So as we're doing that, at 0, x is 1. So we're here up here. Okay? At pi over 2 at 90 degrees, x is 0. So it comes down to here. Then at pi radians, it's negative 1 right here. And then up here, again it's going to be 0 again here at 3 pi over 2 radians, or 270 degrees if you like. And then finally at 0 degrees, or 360 degrees, it comes back up to here again. Now as we go backwards around, the opposite thing occurs. So as we go backwards around here, it's 0 first. Then down to negative 1. Pardon me, not up to, down to. Then up to 0 again. And then finally back to 1. Up here. Now we remember this shape that at halfway through it's about 0.71, if you remember our last tutorial. It's root 2 over 2, which would be somewhere around here for us on these. So that's kind of where that's going to kind of give us our hill there. So if we now connect these, nice smooth cos graph like that, and then down like this, connect these. Here we are. So it looks kind of like a W for the cos graph. There's a negative revolution around the unit circle. There's a positive revolution around the unit circle. Again, this is the y here, this is the x. Okay? And we did last time on the calculator, and I used the calculator that kind of didn't show us the grid too well. So this time I'm going to switch calculators, and I'm going to put it up so that you can actually see the grid this time, and I'm going to use radians this time instead of degrees like I had last time to do the cos graph. So I'm just going to zoom in a little better here for this calculator exercise. Okay. So you can sort of see it there, I think, pretty well. Now you can't quite see all the buttons I'm going to push, but I will mention them as I'm going here. So I've got a little bit of an older calculator. This one it will work a little better with the grid. It shows the grid. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, you have to go into your window. Okay. Well, there's my window there. Okay, and you see that it's set differently. So let's actually go to mode here and make sure that we have radians this time. See that radians there are what we're going to use instead of degrees this time. So I'm going to go into window, and I'm going to have to set up, what is my x minimum that I'm going to have? Well, it's going to be negative 2 pi radians. So I've got to go down to that and clear this, and then just go negative 2, and then you have to find the pi button on your calculator here, which is this one here. It's got the pi button on it, so I'm just going to put the pi there, so there's that one. And the maximum kind of changes it to a number, but whatever. The maximum is going to be 2 pi, so you just put in, clear this, and go 2, put the pi button in there. And there we are. Now, the x scale that we want to have is we're just going to keep it as 1. Okay? Or sorry, I guess we got to put it in, we want to have it in divisions of 90, don't we? Or pi over 2. So let's change that to pi divided by 2, which would be 90 degrees, or pi over 2 radians. Okay, and then the y minimum and the y maximum. The y minimum is -1, so let's clear this, put -1 in. And the y maximum is going to be 1, +1, so clear that, put +1. And finally, for the y scale, it's just going to be 1. Okay, that's where we need the 1. Okay, so now that we have a window set up, okay, we got -2 pi radians, +2 pi radians for our x maximum and minimum. Our x scale is pi over 2 radians. Our minimum is for y is -1. Our maximum for y is +1. And our y scale is just 1. So once we have that window, now we can push the y button, y equals button, and type in cos, and this one here, put a bracket x. And the x is this here, x, t, theta button here. And then close the brackets, and then hit the graph button up here. And here we have our, now you can see there, at least this one has the axis for us. So there's our W-shaped cos graph. Okay, the interesting part here is to make sure that you know how to set your window up when you're doing the graphing. Okay, so there we have a cos graph. Okay, in our next tutorial, we're going to be looking specifically at the tangent graph. And we're going to, because a tangent graph isn't readily derivable without doing some dividing from the unit circle, what we'll end up doing is we'll use the calculator as our main component of graphing it to show how it looks. And that'll be our next tutorial.